Welcome back to a little meme update to yesterday. As always, I'm using this method here. I will link it. I made a standalone video for this. I will link it at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist fractal methods. We will talk today about AMC, GME, Beyond, DJT, Bad Buffer and Beyond, and high cost mining. And just a little teaser. The only one which is looking bad as it should be is Highcraft mining. So let's start with Highcraft mining. So just to have the bad things behind us. So here's our still bullish chart. For this, it doesn't matter if you use my method or just symmetry checking, where you just take this pass pattern here and flip it over here and read it from right to left. In that case, it would look like this. And it's quite one-to-one. Also for the story, gold and silver are running like hell. It makes sense that gold and silver are getting a pullback right now. If they do that, it makes sense that Highcraft mining is doing a pullback too. For my tracking, this was our V, or our all-time low. After that, we did a higher low, which was ending in a V and A, because all the stocks after the V always doing a higher low, and then they squeeze. I will show that on the other ones too. Since then, we did our little A, our little B. And right now, for me personally, there's a 80% chance we got our little C, our top, which is our big A. So, what will happen next? Well, in that case, we would be right here. And this is what we are looking for. For my tracking, we're just taking from the absolute low to our peak, the 0.5 pip, and $7 would be our target now. So something like this. But still, this would be just your A pullback. Your B would be around $90. I'm already in puts, but just a little warning. There is a chance that we will repeat this little bounce here. So in that case, you most likely will fall somewhere around 11, 10, will come up again, but you're not breaking the peak again. This would be then your little lower peak, and then you fall to your $7 target. And then you bounce again. Yeah. Looks pretty nice. And after that, I don't think we will get a B pullback, because we didn't do a B pullback here. We just will go up to our B around 90, doing then this stupid sideways nothing thing. And then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? Okay, so much for Highcraft mining. Let's jump into AMC. So, just for the summary, for the ones who didn't watch the video yesterday, we are tracking this whole thing. And if we got to the bottom yesterday or not, we are at the end of this. What will happen next? Well, we are looking for this section to happen next. And that also answered the next question. Are we doing a one-part or two-part squeeze? I'm one of the ones who are saying we will do a two-part squeeze. I give a one-part squeeze, let's say a 5% chance. If it happens, fine. But I still think we will doing a two-part squeeze. What will be the levels and when? For the levels first, our next target is A. This A, what we did in 2020. So how high will be the A this time? Well, we don't want to fall under this trend line in the next squeeze again. But we will do a breakout retest of this trend line. So we just take from our low. So let's say 160 was our low this Friday. Take our 0.5 up to here. Why up to here? Well, we just look what we did in 2020. We take the 0.5 or the 0.5 pip from our low to the peak. What do you see? Breakout, retest. In 2020, it came a little bit lower than the trend line. It depends how you draw it. But all in all, it was a 0.618 pip retracement. In that case, our target most likely is around 170, 150, something in this range for your A. Then you will quite quick pull back, make a breakout retest. Most likely you will hit the 0.61 again, which is, if you do that high at $10, then you will do this bullshit, and then you go to your all-time high. Your B will be somewhere in here, but the same like in 2020, you won't see a B pullback. You will just go to your all-time high, and this should be somewhere in on this trend line here. So looks fantastic. So did we bottomed yesterday on Friday? Well, for this, again, we take this trend line here, which I was showing now since 2 months, I think. In 2019, it was only resistance. In the squeeze 2020, it was breakout, retest. In 2024, it was support and resistance. And again, breakout, retest. And in 2025, it was the last time before you did your higher low, and then we go. So yesterday, I was saying since weeks now, my target is 160. On my chart, we did 161 yesterday. Some of my colleagues said they already seeing on their chart 159, so be it. So in the best case, this year was our bottom on Friday. If not, next week, I think will be the last week, and your target is 158-ish, something like that. But there's a good chance that this was our bottom. So what will happen next? Because I already seeing videos. OPEX is next week. SPY will jump next week. We will squeeze. I mean, yeah, for SPY I see a jump. OPEX, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter at all for my tracking. For squeezing next week. Again, my problem for this year is just our V. What is missing? The higher low. The higher low we did every time. In 2020, we did our V, higher low 9 days later. In 2024, we did our V. No, this was the lowest point. We did our V, higher low 24 days. Then we squeezed. In 2025, we did our V, higher low 26 days. And then we even added a channel and then we squeezed. So, is it so fudged to say 24 days, 26 days? So now we need 28 days. What is 28 days from here? Friday the 23rd. So, my price target, and not price target, my squeeze target is, what is it? January, yeah. My squeeze target is January 26. Because on the 23rd, is it 23rd here? This one. This will be the end of the higher low. That's your buying target, in my opinion. How would that look like? Well, if this was our bottom now, yesterday, this, then you will just do a little higher low. Your A, your B, your C, your lower high, your midpoint, your T. So higher low, A, B, C, lower high, midpoint, T. And here, when you fall under your V and A, this is your buy-in, your massive buy-in. No financial advice. After that, we shoot. Yeah? I mean, if it's just going next week, okay, so be it. I can only track what I'm seeing. Okay. Did I forget something? No. Okay. Let's jump into GME. So for the GME tracking, just for the complete overview, from IPO till April 2020, this was just our A. From April 2020 till March 2024, this was just our B. And what we are doing since since April 2024 till today, is just a higher low. Our next target is C. So now, of course, a lot of people are saying it will be an infinite squeeze. And our next target is 5,000, 10,000. Okay. I mean, if you want to believe that, so be it. I'm tracking mirrors still. So for this, I'm using this trend line. Yeah. It was a resistance line in 2007. It was our all-time high resistance line in 2021. So I think our price target for the next one is somewhere in here. So somewhere between 280, 350-ish. Of course, there's a chance you can break this trend line. I think you will reject this trend line. Okay? So when AMC found its bottom on Friday, is GME also ready? Two versions for me. One bullish, one bearish one. The thing is, for both, let's look at the 24. Yeah. For both, these 2 points are the same position, in my opinion. In that case, for the bullish version, of course, here would be right now here. Fine. For the bearish one, here would be right now here. But that is just, it looks like. So, for the tracking, for the bullish version, because a lot of people are saying this is your last higher low. And I'm only saying that because there's one thing I have to agree on. I said the last weeks, even if this is higher low, I said it here, I said it here, I said it here. You still need your V and A. And yesterday, we did it. We went 1 cent lower. Yeah? So, yeah, technically, this could be a finished higher low. So, that means we squeeze next week. But AMC is not finished, and I thought AMC and GME go together. Well, in that case, if this is our higher low, this whole thing, what comes after that? A. How high will A go? Well, the same like AMC. We don't want to fall under this trend line again. That means next move for GME is something around 30. Here we'll go up here. Break or retest 0.5, 0.618 of this. and just do a breakout retest. Sorry. Just a breakout retest. And in that case, I think if you do that, this here also will be January 23rd. So GME in that case will just be A, pullback, and here AMC is finished with its high low, and then both just run. Okay, if not, and what I am thinking, this is still your little T. And for this, you still have to come at least 1 cent under 1964. So you will come lower. Maybe you if get a little bounce still. And my price target is still 1758. Then you're doing a little high low, and then you go. Also, this here will be January 23. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was it for GME. Okay. Let's jump into Beyond. Two versions, but both bullish version. So for Beyond, this here is our finished tractor. And since October, we're just doing our higher low. Whenever this higher low is finished, our next target, again, the same like AMC and GME, we're taking from our low. We don't want to break into under this trend line again. So something around 24. You will go up. This will be your A. Breakout retest 0.5 or 0.61. And then you bounce, get your B, pull back, and then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? Are we finished with the higher low? Well, let's look. So for the bullish version, our big higher low is finished with November 25. And since then, also in a V&A, since then we're just doing the little higher low. And I'm saying since weeks now, to finish this little higher low, we have to fall V&A. So yesterday, we did it. So for the bullish version, this Friday, yesterday, was our bottom. For this, you have to go up. From Monday on, you have to go up. If you're still coming down on Monday, the problem is you still have here a gap. The gap is from 88 cents to 75 cents. And they are very close. That's why I'm saying you have to go up from here. If you're not going up and you're still coming lower, you will fill this gap quite quick, and you will fill this gap. In that case, this V here was wrong. And this is not a higher low. This is just this whole thing. And in that case, you have to come lower than 80 cents. And in that case, you will just gap fill. Then you do your little high low, and then you go. I mean, it's not much. It will just take a little bit more time. I'm not seeing it yet, so I'm really seeing that we might really got our bottom on Friday, like many things did. But again, you have to bounce here. If you bounce, everything's perfect. If you're not bouncing, you will get there. Okay? And then the next squeeze is starting. Okay. Next one, DJT. So for DJT, here's the bullish factor. It's already finished. And it was finished on November the 21st. And also, DJT was doing a higher low before it squeezed. All of them are always doing a higher low before the run. So if you look, I was saying also for DJT, we have to do a higher low. This higher low ended in a V&A. Then we did a small higher low, which also ended in a V&A. And at the time, on the candle, we finished this higher low. We got merger news. Perfect. So if the higher low is finished, can we go now? Okay. There is a possibility you just go. But I was saying all the time in the last weeks, if you look, this is your L, this is your M, this is your T. And if you see how big the L, the M, and the T is, and then you look at this tiny little shitty higher low, not working. So yeah, for the start of the run, this higher low is fine. But still, in my opinion, you now need the macro higher low. And then you go. If you finish that, your next target for A is 60, for B 80, and then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? So how would that look like? Well, if we just look at this section here, this was your T, which is also a top, so it's C. Here's your lower high, your midpoint, your T. So your next A is around T, which we did already. Then for B, around the M line, so here. So you would do something like A, B, C. You won't break this trend line. Lower high, M, E, V under A, run. I'm not saying it takes that long, just to show that. Is the A pullback already finished? Well, we look. So if this was already the A peak, you have here bottom, here peak 0.5. We're already close to it. So you might bounce here, but I still think you come a bit a little lower, and then you go up to your A. So if this was then our A pullback, then for the V under A, we need to come lower than what was the 1321. This would be a buy-in target for the big move. And again, I don't think we will do then something like this, because if you look back, GME, not DJT, was always doing V higher low run, V higher low run, V higher low run, IPO, V higher low run. So I think if this is finished, we get this. Tracking pretty perfect. Okay. Then last one, Bed Bath and Beyond. So here, Bed Bath and Beyond, two versions, a bearish and a bullish one. The bearish one is pretty simple. You just say the last peak in September 25 was just your T. In that case, you just make a new all-time low, higher low, and then you go. In that case, you would be somewhere in here still. I'm not seeing that yet, but always have an alternative. For the bullish version, also here, Bed Bath and Beyond did its V. Since then, it's doing a higher low, ready to go. Your next target would then be same like AMC and GME and Beyond and so on. You don't want to fall under this trend line again, so your next target would be around 32. Breakout retest, B, pullback, and then only question is breaking all-time highs or not. So is this higher low finished? Well, let's look. For this, you had your V in April. You did your V under A. Perfect. And since then, you're doing a small higher low. So, two versions for this. First, this is already V and A. So in the best case, this was your little T. This is already your V. From Monday on, you go upside. Okay. If not, then this was your T. But then you have not really much space left because you're not allowed to break under 549. You're not allowed to break. So you still have a chance to go a little bit lower. So let's say 551, and then you go. If you break under 549, it's not over. The only problem is if you see this here, you have no support here. Nothing. So if you break this line, you have a good chance that your falling really, really gets quick. It's not over here, but your last line of defense, your really last line of defense is 360. If you break 360, yeah, you will make new all-time lows. Not higher low. No, you will make an all-time low, a new one, something under 250. And in that case, you would be somewhere in here. Confirmation for this is a gap down. Then you really quick knife. Not seeing that yet, so let's wait for next week. But it looks perfect still. But careful. Okay. I think I didn't miss anything. If you liked it, give a like. The video for the explanation video I will put here. The meme stock playlist I will do here if you're interested. And if you want to live another, yeah, let's see what happens next week. Have a nice weekend.